was a dark and stormy night, nor'easter rolling in. It's a long 12 hours, the power's out again. I pray for inner strength and that we don't lose no lives. Just another day in the first responders' eyes. Half a cup of coffee's gone, the first run comes in. A car slid off the road, there's a family trapped within. My heart beats like a hammer, I can barely catch my breath. I'm thinking the worst and hoping for the best.
Hey, welcome to the award-winning Mad Radio Show, and you're listening to John and Sam. We have an amazing show for you today. Please share, like, because you never know who this is going to affect. We're going to be hitting some powerful issues today, and I'm sure everybody is going to be able to relate in one way or another. Sam, welcome. How are you?
Things are great. You know, we're starting off another fantastic week and another fantastic show. Some thank yous that we have to make to the Blues Police magazine for their ongoing support of not only you and I individually, but the show with articles in each of their publications. We are so grateful to some upcoming things going on. Dr. T will be with her tomorrow. We have a conference on the 4th, and it really is all about healing our heroes, getting the word out about Mad Radio, about a badge of honor, what we do, and to really open people's minds, people's eyes to the struggle of post-traumatic stress. We're wrapping up May here, was Mental Health Awareness Month, right into June, which is Post-Traumatic Stress Awareness Month.
Your screen you were a little frozen. You were a little frozen for a second.
I was a little frozen. I don't know why I was frozen. It's like 90 degrees today.
And I don't, you know what? And you always freeze in the weirdest way. You always freeze in the weirdest way. You look like a corpse with your eyes were closed.
That's what makes the uploads to YouTube the following day so funny, is that all of these screen freezes are all captured, and you and I and the guests. I mean, it's great, but hey, if we can't laugh at ourselves, right?
That's right. We have
so
to.
We're at the mercy of the internet here on looking at my booster, and you know, I got one red light, so you know, fingers crossed that you know, we will be good. So so we're ending May, going into June, Post-Traumatic Stress Awareness Month, and last week we had a great show with Randy Sutton, who kind of laid out the craziness that officers in our country are going through with departments that should have their back at every step of the way. And that's why I titled today's show "When the Thin Blue Line Gets Broken," because Randy opened our eyes to how broken that line gets when there's a line of duty injury. And our guests tonight are, if we're going to dive in, it's really personal, and they're just going to tell us how it is.
Well, before you bring them in, I just want to backtrack to what you were talking about, Blues Magazine. You know, if you haven't subscribed, or if you haven't seen Blues Magazine on line or on Facebook or on any of the social networks, you know, subscribe, start looking at it. That magazine is jam-packed with information throughout the country, from different sources that really help out and highlight what law enforcement and our first responders go through. So you know, kudos to Blues Magazine. Everything is online now, and you know, you're not buying the hard copy in the store anymore. So log on and check them out. the magazine's amazing. It's jam packed with a lot of good information.
Yeah, it's on Facebook. They're at Blues PD MAG, Blues PD Mag. Yeah. And I think last month's publication was like one of the largest that they've ever had. So many good stuff. They had to split it into two. So they had two different covers, jam packed. And, you know, it also coming off of Police Week. What Michael does at the magazine is this is a true tribute to our fallen officers. And he just did a beautiful job. And like I said, each month they feature the best of the best. And it's such an honor and a privilege for John and I to be featured. And so huge shout out to the Blues Police magazine. You can look it up on your web browser, the Blues Police magazine. And you know what? I'd be remiss in not giving Axon another shout out. They continue to release this entire month. Axon Aid, the family program.
Just yours.
Thank you. And did a little tweak in there last minute, but yeah, it turned out really well, and I just am humbled and a huge thank you to them for doing a feature on September 11th. And if you are a first responder, family member of first responder, go to axonaid.com and check out what they are offering in terms of this. It's documentaries split up over the 4 weeks. It started the beginning of the month, and really some top-notch partners that we have in that organization. If you don't know what Axon is, Axon are the body cams and the dash cams that our law enforcement officers wear and have in their vehicles. You're seeing it all over the news. That's where those clips of the body cams are coming from. So, yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Axon.
Yes. All right. So just real quick, you know, we have Sara and Jim in the green room. We're going to bring them on. You know, Jim is an 18-year veteran of a police department, and you know he did 12 years in homicide. He has, as so many of us, see the unseen. We end up taking that stuff home. It causes a lot of mental health issues. It causes the post-traumatic stress, and not only does it cause internal stress, it really bleeds out into the family life. Relationships start to have a problem. So now you're starting to have fights inside your own home, and then, and I'm going to say it real bluntly, is to get kicked in the nuts by the department that you know you were serving and trying to help. And we heard this from Randy, is you know, and I could say that department because he brought it up, was Las Vegas PD. You know, he had a stroke in his car, and they left him out to dry, and he had to fight for it. He had to go fight for his rights. And, you know, when we look around our nation, we have 900,000 sworn officers in so many different departments. And these smaller departments, and I'm saying smaller, of under 4,000 strong, you know, not like New York City where we got 32,000, 34,000, or California where we're up to the 5,000. These small departments would rather see you fight than give you something, give you any medical benefits, because they know either one, you're gonna give up and, you know, screw it, or they're planning on, and I hate to say it, they're planning on you expiring before they have to pay out those benefits. And it's a sad thing that a lot of departments across the nation are putting our law enforcement through. So I want to welcome Sara and Jim. Thank you guys for coming on.
Thanks, guys. I think you hit it like right on the head. They're either hoping you quit or you die. I mean, those are the two things. And I heard Randy say that last week as well. They're going to draw this out as long as possible, and they're going to take away. I mean, your livelihood's already taken away once you're gone off the force. And I mean, that's your identity. That's who you are. And then they start just taking everything away, your money, your insurance, your everything, where you're stuck with nothing, and you're left in a place where I mean, if the officer is the breadwinner of the family, how am I going to take care of my family? What am I going to do with health insurance? What if someone gets hurt? I don't have any of this. How am I going to feed? I mean, I've talked to so many officers recently about this, and it's sad because, they lose their homes. They're selling cars to buy groceries, to pay bills, to keep the lights on. And how is that happening? Like, I don't get it, how they can do that. And I think, like, even today, I was just like, I feel like we're in a movie. Like, we're kind of watching this, like, is this really happening? Like, do people really treat other people this way, especially, like, police officers? I mean, hearing stories from others, knowing it's not just us, that's the hard part, is just hearing how bad it is.
And that right there is, you're one family. Right. And like I said, we have 900,000 sworn officers across the nation. You're one family. So everybody thinks they're unique. And it's really not a unique issue. A lot of families are struggling through this, but they're struggling in silence.
Yeah.
And there's not enough of us out there that are going to get the word out. So, I mean, I'm glad you guys came on to share this story, because you know what? You may not help 1,000 people, but you may help that one family in Arizona that may be struggling, going, hey, I have that same issue. I have that same problem. I'm not alone. And that's what Sam always says. You're not alone. And, we have to stick together, and you're never, ever alone.
And that's what we've been telling people that, like, because I've just been reaching out to as many people as I can. And I feel crazy some days because I'm like, I want to know your story. I want to hear it. Like, I really want to know. And I want you to know you're not alone. And this is our story, so you're not fighting alone. And I mean, he'll tell you, I'll sit on the phone for 2 hours with people and just listen. Like, last night was one of those nights, I'll just sit and listen, and I'll talk. And I mean, I could talk for hours about it because it's so life-changing. And, he's shut up.
I saw that look.
Yeah.
Everybody saw that look that's watching worldwide.
We've all gotten that look.
It's all out there.
When you have that passion about something, it's hard not to shut up. And I guess because we fought in silence, like, nobody knew for at least a year after his diagnosis. He was ashamed. It was bad. And once I realized we weren't the only ones, I just kept talking about it, because I didn't want anyone to ever feel like we did. I didn't want anyone to ever feel alone and like they had to hide or be ashamed of this, because it's not our fault. We didn't ask for this, and we didn't do anything wrong, but we're still like, there's still that shame that kind of hovers over you of something you're dealing with. And so I hate that it happened to us, but I'm kind of glad it did, just because we're able to share it and help others and talk to others. So it's still a struggle. We struggle every day.
Yeah. So Jim, can you take us through? Can you just tell everybody that's watching and listening, what you did go through?
I don't have a specific incident that supposedly caused mine. Mine was an accumulated deal. Well, St. Louis is like the #1 murder capital, per capita in the United States. It's usually us or Detroit or Chicago, except we only have like 300,000 people according to their 3 million or something. But it's basically baby deaths. My friends, police officers on the job, committing suicide, horrific accidents, other suicides. It's just, I guess it's just an accumulation of everything that led up to mine. Because I can't say.
It's that trauma.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And, let me ask you, and I don't, you brought up the department. I don't know if you.
We're not going to say it again.
We're not going to say it again. In case anybody
I don't care what they know.
But like so many, here's what me and Sam have always been saying, and we say this in our workshops, is that the stack trauma is avoidable if the department is doing their job and keeping you mentally healthy. Now, the department that you were with was there any, besides the EAP bullshit stuff, were there any external offers of help or, or monthly, let's get healthy type of thing?
Peer support.
Peer
Yeah,
support.
anything.
No, other than the, what's it called?
They started a thing just I think it's a year or so before he actually went out of work. It's like a yearly little day course.
For the
Where they just
classes and stuff.
where you just have to go show up. I actually was about a year after he was diagnosed, I got to go in and speak to the officers about how PTSD had affected us, because he had told me, like, you're sitting in that class and you have these counselors or therapists, whoever, who have no idea. They've never been through it. They don't know. So the officers are just sitting there like, I'm here because I have to be, and they're not listening. But I was like, well, I'm going to go talk anyways, because I talk, obviously, a lot. And so I went and I just started telling them, like, this is real. PTSD is real. And this is how it affected us. This is what I had to look for. These are signs that I still, even to this day, I watch his behaviors to see if anything's changing, to see if I need to call a doctor, and that was actually surprisingly it was nice, because the officers started asking me questions, and they didn't ask the counselors questions. They didn't, but because I could relate to what real life, they were a little interested in it. But that's the only thing. Yeah, that was the only thing that the department really offered, and I don't know. I guess they still might do it once a year.
I never heard of anything other than that. So
I think they might be a little busy defunding, or in the case of what's happening across the country, trying to figure out how to refund.
Yeah.
Not refund like here's your money back, but refund the police in most of the major cities. I just find it, John, you and I talked like way back when, saying, yeah, it'll all come back around, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, we really do need you. And when you burn the bridges, in your case, Jim, from both ends, here you are pouring your heart into your work, and you're doing what you're asked to do. You're serving your community, and it's taking a toll on you, and you're wondering, wow, can I even get help? Sarah, you're watching this, your heart, your husband melt in front of you. And then you got from this side, you've got from the other side, you're seeing no way out. So it's like a candle from both ends. You guys are in the middle. And unfortunately, there are, just a minority of states out there that have actually passed legislation to assist first responders with post-traumatic stress. And I have to report that, unfortunately, once again, Texas is not one of those states that joined the fight. There was a bill that was introduced, and it didn't go anywhere. And now we're pretty much out of time for that. So, you can look at it. I kind of look at it two ways. And John and I discussed this with our partners in the workshop, is you can shed light on and talk to the department and tell them what's going on in hopes that they will start a program, start peer support, make a connection where you have a professional that can be called at any time, say, hey, can you see one of our officers? Or, on the flip side, you get legislation, and it seems as the years go by, we're giving the departments the chance to do the right thing, right?
Right.
And now we're petitioning our governments at the local level to make law. And it really shouldn't be like that.
Not at all. And the big concern is, too, I think, for a lot of officers, is if they come forward and say, hey, I'm experiencing this, you get shoved on desk duty. And I mean, as an officer or a detective, anyone, you make overtime. That's how you don't get overtime on desk duty. So you're losing you're losing salary because you have this going on, but you're also treated differently at that point too. So they don't want to come forward. And there's not an anonymous resource. Like you can't call, I mean, if you're using the anything they would have, it's not going to be anonymous. So they don't want to.
Right.
Well, that's the stigma that we're trying to, to shatter. And we're scratching the surface. I have to say we are, it's a slow go.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll see big changes coming within the next year or two, but we are scratching the surface.
Yeah.
And that's what, and we got to keep people like you and Jim in the forefront, and talking, like you said, you like to talk. So, that's what we need. We need more people to come out and talk about this and rally against this and show the effects of post-traumatic stress. One thing I like what you said was you got to speak at this function, which I am very happy to see that the department opened the door to you and allowed you to speak. That's an amazing step, because a lot of departments would be like, no, we want to put our counselors in there and do that whole robot thing,
Right.
So I'm glad they allowed you to speak. So that's like I said, it's a step in the right direction, and it's proven that it worked, because now those officers started to engage with you, and they didn't engage with others. So that shows that it's real.
It does, and that was a huge step for the department to do. I want to know. So they open their doors. You came in. I'll say you enlightened them to what was going on. At what point did you guys figure out, like, you're totally on your own? The department actually, after opening the door, just slammed it shut.
It was really never opened. This was like a little sneak in the back door for me to get into this. Okay. So the door, from the moment he went out on leave, there was no contact. No one calling to check in on him. No one to say.
There was a couple of supervisors that would call and check.
Just to see. But really, there was no help, like no walking us through the process of what's next, because we didn't know what PTSD was.
Was it more of a pity check? Just a pity check that they had to make that phone call?
That's what it kind of felt like. But they did. So I got to give them credit for it.
Right, but that's a lot. You're not alone on that. A lot of officers. We have some officers here in Texas that are going through the same thing. Once they left the department, out of sight, out of mind, no one's calling them up and saying, "Hey, how you feel?" No one's running fundraisers. No one's trying to help. Because once again, like PTSD and suicide go hand in hand, that stigma, they don't want any part of it. Right. If you were battling cancer, leukemia, diabetes,
a broken leg
from a car accident,
you're gonna have fundraisers.
They'd have GoFundMe pages out there. There'd be rallies. They'd be, let's get him back to work.
Right.
But when they hear that it's mental, let's take away his gun and get him out of the department before he does something that we have to try to fight in litigation.
It's definitely a stigma that's hard to shake.
Yeah. And I think the education really, like going back, really needs to start from the police academy. Like the more I've read into everything and talked to people, it really needs to start there before you even get into the police department, I feel like. And with the families, especially, like what we need to look for, because I didn't know what to look for. One day my husband is a completely different person and can't get off the couch for 10 months. So, it's what is going on? What's wrong with him? And then, to be thrown PTSD, be thrown at us, like, what does that even mean? What does it mean? What is that? And the education needs to start way, way beforehand, I feel like, and it will help prevent it getting worse, because like you said, suicide is going up in numbers for our first responders, and that's what hurts me like the most, is every time I see another suicide, because I'm like, that could have been prevented. Like they were in such a dark place where he was at one point that they didn't see any other way out. And it makes me feel thankful that we're not one of those numbers. Like I'm not, I still have him. I'm thankful for that. But it's one of those things that we need to stop the stigma of it.
Absolutely. And John talks about we talk about family, the importance of family in our workshop. John does a phenomenal job in presenting some very, key aspects when it comes to your family being involved with you finally receiving this, oh, it's PTSD. And you're like, what?
Mm-hmm.
What did you do, the education piece, and how did you purposefully make the choice to really be active in making sure that he stayed well?
I jumped right into it because I wanted to know everything there was to know. So I really did educate myself as much as I could, and I tried to educate, family and friends too, because to them, he's just being a jerk, or, because he's in a bad mood all the time, or he don't want to leave the house, so they didn't understand. So I really had to teach myself all about it and educate myself. And then it helped me communicate with him better too, because, little things would just throw him off. Like he went out of work, so I would go to work and come home. Like one of the things I say a lot is like, I would come home and the trash would be full, so I would take the trash out. Never said anything, I just did it. Well, he would be so angry, and I'm like, why are you mad because I took the trash out? And it was because he was feeling guilty because he didn't do it. And
I can relate to that.
So I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about this. So that became like, okay, we have to talk about these things now. So if I come home and the trash is full, I'm like, hey, can you take the trash out? And he takes it out, and it's fine. But it was just those little communication things that we had to work on and change. Was this is how we need to communicate now. Like, we just need to be more open than what we were. And I couldn't take anything personal. Like, that's one thing. I talk to a lot of spouses a lot, because it's really easy if he's in a bad mood for me to take it personal. Like, I did something wrong, or he might be mad at me, or even if he's upset, like sad, like, what is he sad? Did I, is he not happy? And I know these are thoughts that women especially are like always have going through their heads. We overthink everything. We do. And
no, not you, not women.
I'll admit it. We overthink everything.
We do. Yeah.
So I had to I don't take any of this personal. And so anytime anything would happen, I'd be like, okay, I know you're not really mad at me. So what are you mad about? Let's talk about it. And, he was very responsive about it. Like, and we would talk and communicate. But some relationships can't do that. And I think that's why there's such a high divorce rate in first responders, is because when things get really tough, the communication isn't there. The foundation isn't there. And it's something that once you understand what PTSD is, you know that you can't take it personal is the big thing. You just can't take it personal.
Now, Jim, were you receiving help? Were you receiving help at this time, or did you guys just so professional help?
Yeah.
when you understood, the diagnosis and so
Sarah sought out a counselor.
Okay.
And he was prior law enforcement, so he already had the background and knew what was going on. So
yeah.
Okay, so again, the department did not refer you. Did not. Okay. Wow.
No.
You guys really did.
Initially we had our own counselor, still counselor, but that we sought out help ourselves. And then that's how actually the counselor, I think, was the one who said, you have PTSD, this is work related. And because of the job, obviously, and because we didn't know what it was, we didn't know what was going on. And
I want to reverse you for a second and touch it on Jim and touch it on Sam. With the counselor, you had to seek out the counselor. 12 years in homicide, right? Were there what made you, there had to be red flags, right? Coming up to the post-traumatic stress, work-related, 12 years in homicide, you're on the top of your game. you're passionate about your work. No one wants to see dead bodies for 12 years and not be passionate about solving crimes. So was there a point in your career where, hey, I'm just not going to go to work today, or I just don't give a shit type of mood, right?
Right.
That had to reflect, and especially in a homicide bureau, you're surrounded by maybe 15 close guys in the homicide bureau. You're a team, right? Did anybody notice anything off? Did anybody notice any signs? Hey, he's calling in sick. He's got a bad attitude. Anything?
My partner knew something was going on. He didn't have a clue as to what it was. Matter of fact, we were in CET training, and I think they brought that up one time, like, "Oh, are you this, and this?" And I looked at my partner. I'm like, I've got every one of those damn things. So we kind of knew something was going on. Plus, it was I would get up in the morning at 5 every day and get dressed, and then just couldn't make myself go get in the police car and go. So I called in, I think 56
days within the first 4 months of the year.
Yeah, I just called the supervisor. I was like, I'm not coming in.
It was an insane amount. We have it documented somewhere, but like for the first 4 months of the year, it was 56 days.
What gets me too, and I see this a lot, me and Sam hear this a lot. Did any of your partners and anybody in that team, hey Jim, you okay? You walk out of a homicide. Hey Jim, you okay?
Oh no.
See, the education has to, the department has to provide the resources, but we have to educate our officers to be able to spot those signs and symptoms in fellow officers and be able to go over to them with no judgment and go, hey, if you got to cry, right here.
Or, hey, that was a tough one, wasn't it?
That was a tough one, right? Exactly, Sam. And I think because of the field of law enforcement, because we all have to stay in that type type A personality. We can't show emotion. We can't show weakness. That it damages us to a point where it's no return.
It's true.
Yeah.
So we have to really
they shut all this stuff down like the counselor told us, for all these years you're shoving all of this down and down and down and not feeling emotions. Eventually it has to go somewhere. You can't just keep shoving it down forever and not expect it to come pouring out. And that's what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. You hit the nail on the head, and we talk about this almost every week. Hey, for those of you guys who are joining us, we are having a deep conversation about post-traumatic stress, about how departments turn their backs on officers that take leave for post-traumatic stress. If you have comments, questions, go ahead. The comment stream is open. You can go ahead and post. Just type it right in there and it'll come across, and I'll go ahead and read the comment or the question. We do have a comment from the founder of Blue Help, Karen Solomon. Karen, thanks for being on tonight. And she says she's glad you're not one of the numbers, going back to explaining the suicide. And I hope that you're able to get assistance and your family is cared for the way that it should be.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Karen knows all too well because she speaks with families left and right that get the bad side of this, where there was no help, there was no outlet, and she has to deal with the grieving families afterwards. Yeah. And we're all on the same. This is where we're all on the same page. That when you said it's got to start in the academy with the families, it's got to start at the applicant investigation division, because nowadays, I think the academy is too late to start training these guys. When you fill out that application to be or take that test to be a law enforcement officer, they should turn around and tell you, you know what, this is what you need to expect when you get on this job. Because a lot of, and I don't want to say this generation, but a lot of people see law enforcement as what they see in Blue Bloods and NCIS and all this friggin' TV drama. That's what they think. Yeah, that's what they think life as a law enforcement officer is. and it's far from it, man. And they have the wrong expectations on what it is to be a cop. So you have to, before you fill out that application and put on that badge and put on that uniform and get out there and protect and serve, you better be fully aware of the ramifications of the stress levels and what could happen to you, and be prepared for that. And if we do that, at that point, we already put that seed in that guy's head, that cadet's head, that, hey, I better be prepared for this. Because like you said, Jim, it sneaks up on you and all of a sudden it hits you, right? If we plant that seed that early in somebody's head, you know what? They're always going to be aware of it, and they're going to say, hey, I'm having an issue, and they'll maybe come out and we could save one more life or a few lives.
Yeah. So did you, Jim, let me ask you, did you ever, while you felt like when things were becoming unpackaged, you couldn't shove it down anymore, was there ever a time when you were, starting to take off the work that you turned to Sara and you just were like, I can't explain this, but something's just not right? Or did you still, was the stigma always kind of in the back of your mind?
Towards the end, I mean, it started getting really bad. I think I said something to her, like, I don't know what the hell's the matter with me. There's something going on.
Yeah,
and,
he did, because like Jim doesn't like lazy. And so, I mean, he's that person who always worked 2 or 3 jobs at a time. And then from going from that to not wanting to even go into work at all, which is a job, his dream job that he loves, that he's wanted to do his entire life. That was like really shocking. So, I mean, you could see the change of it, because from going from someone who doesn't like lazy, works all these jobs, to I can't even get off the couch. He knew something was wrong, but he didn't know what. And I had to, like, what is wrong? What's going on? What are you thinking? And he didn't tell me everything. Obviously, he didn't tell me he was suicidal. I didn't know that until like probably months and months after he had already contemplated suicide. Then just the whole, how do we deal with this now? And what do we do next? That was the thing, because he didn't see any hope at the end of the tunnel. I guess I don't know what it's like to have PTSD. I will never know that. I hope I never have to. But how it's explained and how I understand it from him, like, there was no hope and there was no future. He was in this dark place that he couldn't get out of. And I couldn't fix it. I couldn't fix him. Like, he couldn't fix himself. So what do we do now that we can't fix it? So, like, we were lost. And so I was like, please go see a counselor. And
that's a double-edged sword right there.
Yeah.
Double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Because he's feeling lost. You're trying to fix it, but as you're trying to fix it, believe it or not, you're making things worse.
Yeah.
Because it's true. Because and I don't want to use the word nag, because I'm talking to women right now. But you're nagging. And
I'm not a nagger.
Listen, take the garbage out. Yeah, it's nagging. But you know what? We hear it. We hear it differently. When the person who's suffering, we know you want to help. We know you want to try to fix us, but it's so frustrating in our own minds that we don't know what's wrong, and you're asking what's wrong, and you're asking how can I fix it, and we don't even know how to fix ourselves. So what happens? We get frustrated. We get angry, and we do and we go right into the fight or flight syndrome, and we're going to either split and leave, or we're going to fight it out.
He was like a burden at that point. Huh? He was a burden to me.
Well, see, these are all the things that enter your head, man.
So
it's classic. I mean, John, you and I have been there. It's classic post-traumatic stress, because I'll speak in my story, I'm trapped, literally keeping myself in my house, not even going outside, because my symptoms would be like, if there was a thunderstorm or a loud bang, I'm diving under stuff. And this was so messed up. You learn as you're going and getting help why this is messed up, and the signals are, the synapses are not connecting, so you can't explain what is going on. Sure, you can say, well, I keep having a nightmare, or but when somebody says, well, why don't you feel like going to work, you can't verbally explain, you can't give a why. And with us in law enforcement, we are fixers, we are problem solvers, right? We solve crimes. And when it's us, it's like the biggest mind screw on the planet. And John, you just said it, is like, when we can't get it out and we can't put a name to it, we can't call it X, we don't mean to take it out on our kids. We don't mean to take it out on our spouse. We certainly don't mean to disappoint, but that's what it leaves us with, is disappointment in ourselves because we can't explain, and disappointment like, I'm a crappy spouse, I'm a crappy mom, I'm a crappy dad, my life is worth nothing. And once you're down at that place, and you start with the suicidal ideation and you start playing this out, how you're going to do it, it takes so much strength from somebody like Sara, from you seeing it, and from Jim, for you just saying, I don't know what's wrong, but I need help. And so I applaud you, both of you guys, for having the ability to have a communication, because sometimes it just turns out completely different for those of us that are still feeling and grieving the loss of our brothers and sisters in blue, that didn't see another way out, that didn't have somebody to say, hey, what's up? Or anybody in their inner circle to say, something's not going right here and we need to fix it.
That's the hard part too, is because I talk to a lot of spouses where their husbands aren't willing to seek help. Jim didn't want to. I was like, please do this. And he's like, I'm only doing it for you. Okay, if that's the only way to do it, then that's fine. But he'll tell you, like, he only went because of me. But he did it. That's all I care about. And so I talk to other spouses who their spouse is not willing to do that. And what do you say? Like, how do I mean, it's heartbreaking, because he had to make that step regardless if it was for me or not. He still had to do it and make that choice, and he did it.
Jim, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you the hard question, and I'm sure and Sam probably already knows this answer. When Sara asked you to go get help, and you said you didn't want to go get help, what was the reasoning behind it? Because so many officers are afraid to go take that first step and reach out for help. What made you say, I don't need help?
Because I don't know, I had a little bit of pride there, but I felt like it was going to cause more issue. You know what I mean? Like, when she's asking me what's wrong, and it's like, I don't know what the hell to tell you. So then I had to go through it with some total stranger and tell them I don't know what the hell's going on. And then they ask you to explain, how you're feeling. And it's like, I don't know. I'm done. So,
that's the worst F word.
Right.
Okay, so that was the first person. You transitioned on to somebody else after that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But now let me ask you this, okay? You have 18 years, right? You had 18 years in law enforcement? Okay. So pride and what the hell am I going to tell this perfect stranger? And that's the typical answer from everybody that you speak to, right? But now let's reverse that back to when you first became a police officer, right? 18 years ago. And we'll talk about the academy. We'll talk about applicant investigation. If someone put in your mind 18 years ago saying, hey, it's okay to talk to somebody. Hey, it's okay to feel this way. Do you think now, 18 years later, after all this stacked trauma, you would have been able to say, you know what? I do need help. You would have felt comfortable enough within your own self to say, I can go get some help.
Right. But right now, there's that, like I said, there's that stigma that I'm ashamed of myself. I'm embarrassed because I was in the Marine Corps and, you're taught just handle shit. And then the police department. But yeah, I think it would have helped if way back in the day, if they would have said, and it's, ultimately it is what it is. And I got to deal with what I got to deal with. So at this point, we just live day to day and keep working on it.
But you're making changes. You're making a difference by speaking and telling your story. You're helping other people, and that's what me and Sam try to do through our workshops. And we try to tell our story because it resonates. It may not resonate with everybody in the workshop, but you know what? It may resonate with 1 or 2 or 3 people, and that's all that matters. Because then it becomes like a ripple effect, and people will start listening.
Asking their partners, oh, that was a tough one. What that, and it opens the doors to allow just conversation. Whereas before it was like everybody would be like, all right, crime scene, shut it down, do this, you go through the motions.
I'm going to hit another topic with Sarah, because Sarah, you said you don't know what PTSD is and you've never been affected by it, right?
I mean, I haven't had it myself. No. So
you haven't had it yourself? Is that what you truly believe?
Well, I've lived it. I can say I have lived the life of PTSD. Well, I don't have night terrors, but I deal with his night terrors. I have to be next to him and help him through it.
Here's the thing me and Sam are going to tell you right now is that you do have PTSD, and it's called vicarious trauma. Okay, because anybody that lives with somebody who has PTSD, believe it or not, you are affected.
You're exposed to his trauma. Not that you will ever receive a clinical diagnosis,
right?
But it's like how you can walk into a room and if it's all negative energy, you feel that, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. If your world becomes surrounded by just everything post-traumatic stress. And while it's so awesome to have you be an amazing support system, and I know Karen is listening, will echo this. John and I say is like, you got to make sure to take care of yourself and recognize. And so it just seems like from talking with you, and we're coming up on 10 minutes to the hour here. It's time just flies so fast on the show.
Yeah.
Your guys' support system for each other is a model. And I hope that other people will give you a platform to say, hey, it sucks.
Yeah.
You've got to ask the tough questions of your spouse. You've got to ask them, to explain, not to be nagging, as we'll use that word.
Right.
But show them it's because you care.
Well, and we have to take care of ourselves. You said that. Like, I made it a point, and I tell other wives this too a lot, spouses, is you have to put yourself first. Because if you're not healthy mentally, you can't help him. And I take care of myself. He'll tell you, like I will put my mental health first. And if I feel like something is draining me that is going on in the situation, I will remove myself from it temporarily so that I can recharge before I step back in. And that is priority to me, is I have to mentally be okay, because if not, I can't help him. And I tell people that all the time. If you are feeling so drained and like you can't handle it anymore, you need to step away and do something for yourself. Like do a spa day, do a girl day, like just do something and get away and take care of yourself. That's
great awareness of yourself. Yeah. And
another applaud for you, because that takes strength. And I don't know where you've built up the inner strength that you have, but it does show, and that's great. And I wish more spouses had that inner strength. And that is something that you have to resonate to other wives, and teach them that you have to grab that inner strength, and you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of your partner.
And boundaries. You have to have healthy boundaries. He always makes fun of me because of my healthy boundaries. But you have to have them. And so I'm the boundary queen. So I will preach to someone about boundaries all day long. And I'm like, you have to have boundaries. But it's true.
You're right. You're right. You're 100% right. But once again, you know, what you guys have done and shared and how far you've come, Jim, I commend you for still being here, because it's not easy. It's not easy. And I hope you continue with your mental health programs. And you know, you're never going to heal, but you're going to learn to cope, and you'll learn the coping skills to get you through the day.
Yeah.
As for what's going on with the department and medical bills and everything else, and going through legislation, there are numerous people on our thread right now that are fighting for legislation, that are fighting in Congress and their local.
To talk to those people, like really reach out to me, because that is something I'm very passionate about right now, is getting laws changed and our officers to be protected. We've been fighting this for 3 years, and other officers I've talked to, 3 or 4 years, they've been fighting this, and they're, like I said before, they've lost everything and they have nothing. They're starving. They're losing their homes, and they should never be in that situation. It shouldn't happen.
Absolutely. And before we came on the show, so our guest from last week, Randy Sutton, he's definitely somebody to reach out to. Yeah. So we can make some.
I've actually talked to him, so he's a good guy.
Good. Well, he should be able to open a whole universe of folks that we can get this on. And we just thank you for coming on and sharing your story. And before we wrap, we always ask our guests for all of the first responders out there that are listening, for supporters of, for spouses of, what would you say to them?
Don't quit. Don't give up.
Yeah.
Don't give up, and hopefully you have a wife like mine. And
I'm one of a kind. I mean,
that makes their journey less difficult. But whatever you do, don't give up. Don't quit.
Yeah, and that's really it. It's like, don't give up. Keep fighting. Keep fighting this fight, because there is light at the end of the tunnel. Even if you don't see it, it's there. We don't know what it is yet, but we'll find it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sarah, as a spouse, what can you tell other spouses that are out there listening?
Really, I mean, educate yourself, because that is so important. Number one is educate yourself, but number two is don't take things personally, because it's really easy to take things personally and then get offended, and that's not the healthy way. So, and take care of yourself.
Yeah, I'm typing in the comment stream all these takeaways, which are fantastic and so important. Guys, it was an absolute pleasure again having you on. Thank you so much for sharing your story. You're free to stay on the stream and watch the wrap up, but we'll be in touch.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. You're part of the Mad Radio family now.
You are. You're part of the network.
You're part of the network. So we're going to keep in touch with you. We're going to want everybody's input. And, as things grow with Mad Radio and as things grow with Badge of Honor and our seminars, you will be invited in to guest speak and as well to help others.
Yeah.
I mean, anything we can do to help others, like it helps us too.
Yes.
Yes, it does. Awesome. I'm glad you said that too. All right. Take care, guys. Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. That was so powerful. And wow, we just got bigger on the screen. I think I'm going to put that back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is just it's heartbreaking, but listening to their story, I truly felt like that there's hope. And the more we talk about this, the more we bring it to light, and the more that this just gets out there, that people have the awareness of it. They will come, and hopefully we'll have, like I said, I wish it would happen, John, like you, at the local level, but hey, if we gotta go to the state and then go nationally, we will. We're going to stay in that fight. And speaking of awareness, we've got a great workshop coming up next month. It is private. So for those of you guys that are listening, abadgeofhonor.com, that is the place where you have all of your information about what we do there with our post-traumatic stress workshops, suicide prevention workshops, as well as, if you scroll down the page, resources. So you truly are not alone. If you need help, scroll down, click on the logos to any of our partners, give them a call. They will pick up the phone, tell them John and Sam sent you, and you'll be well taken care of. But if you want to bring a badge of honor into your department, just check us out again on the website. There's a place where you can contact us, and we'll be happy to do that. And be on the lookout for other workshops planned later in the year after John and I presented others workshops. So it's kind of coming full circle. It's really awesome. And you know what else is awesome, John?
What else?
We are growing on the social media. Okay. So
social media.
We are growing. So hey, thank you guys seriously every week for tuning in. If you are listening on Facebook, please jump over to YouTube. You go to youtube.com, you get the search bar at the top, type in Mad Radio Texas. You'll see our little logo. You'll see me and John there, and click on that. Follow us on YouTube. Why? We got to hit 200 to be able to do some really cool things, like have our own page name. Yes. It's called having your own channel. All right. So we're still far from that 200, but we're going to get there because that's our newest platform. We'll get there. We're staying in the fight. If you are watching us on YouTube, hey, YouTube family, welcome, welcome. Jump on over to Facebook, and you can find us on Facebook at Making a Difference TX, or in that search bar, you can type in Mad Radio. You'll see our logo, and you'll see all the videos and everything where you can watch all the past shows. And follow us there as well, so you get notified every time we go live each Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Time. You want to support the show? Hey, we are a Texas domestic nonprofit, Badge of Honor. You can go to the top of badgeofhonor.com. You'll see Donate Mad Radio, and we got a donate button on there. Every ounce of money we get in there goes to support Mad Radio and our workshops. And I was very busy after last week's show with Randy because he's like the ultimate author. So after we end tonight, you can go on our Facebook page, scroll up, and all of the books, Randy's books, are now on there.
Oh, you put Randy's book on. Good.
I loaded them up there. I'm getting good with this with this shopping stuff. So we got lots of authors. Everybody who's been a guest on the show, if they have a book, it is on there for you to show your love and purchase. And let me tell you something, they are some fantastic reads, truly. So John, take us home.
I think you said it all, Sam, but the biggest way you could help Mad Radio and help our law enforcement and first responders throughout the country is to share our show. Make this an awareness program. The more people we reach, the more healing that can be done, because our network is growing large, but we have to get our voices out there. Like Sara and Jim said, they are one couple that are trying to get their voices out. They don't have that platform. We're giving them a platform to speak. The more people that hear their voices, the more people they can reach out to and heal. So please, sharing our show is very important. All you got to do is just click that share button, share it with a group, share it with a page, share it with a friend, family. You don't know who you're helping by one click. So one click will save a life. And until then, man, just stay strong, stay dedicated. Don't give up. You're never alone. And me and Sam love you.
Till next
Reach
week,
out.
everybody. Take care.
Take care.